Hey, how's it going, everybody? Got some more Force Awakens characters to show you guys. Anyways, gonna start out with the one that I picked up at Kmart. That's by Jakks. This is one of the 20-inch characters for 20 bucks. Basically, call them 18 or 20-inch, depending on who it is. This one definitely 20. This is a good-sized character and a very cool one. This is one I've been wanting to pick up and just wasn't able to find it yet. Anyways, got myself Captain Phasma, and gotta say, I really like how Jakks did with her. This is one of them where they really tried their best to get some detail in there. Even her gun looks really good, which, as you can see, fits onto the side of her leg via a couple of pegs. And they did make her so she can hold the gun in either hand, which is cool. Thing I've noticed is kind of fits tight in her hand, and you gotta have it tucked under her arm like this on either side. Otherwise, not bad. Get her cape straightened out here. What the hell I did. Not the best fabric on her cape, but it looks good for what it is. Something that I'm planning on changing up once I find out where I put it is I've got some red fabric paint, and the way they did this stripe here is just loose stitching, which the video's making it look better than it really looks to the naked eye. I mean, it's not tight at all on this, man. Really loose, like just thread, big gap, thread, big gap, thread, big gap. So you got a lot of the black showing through, so what I'm going to do is just go over it with the fabric paint and just highlight it so it looks like a regular old stripe in her cape. Otherwise, really cool. Now, wouldn't be a pervert if I didn't show her backside. Say, man, really cool. Looks good all over. After I get done showing her to you, I would like to see some improvement on this, which I wish Jakks would have done, but that's something that we'd have to do ourselves. And thanks to another YouTuber, somebody's already done that, so I will bring them up here in a minute. I was very impressed. Show your gun. The gun looks nice. It's nice solid plastic. It's two halves screwed together. Haven't been able to find any pics of the actual actress in her stormtrooper uniform holding the gun to see how accurate this is, but did see a couple of posters at Walmart, and not too bad. The color scheme's at least close, if anything. So they tried. Otherwise, give you guys a sight here. And I haven't even subscribed to these guys yet. I was just checking out different reviews on it. And this is G1 Toys, Captain Phasma's 20-inch review, Jakks Pacific. Definitely check out this video, man. You will be mind blown on what his buddy did to one of these. And he's got a couple of them to show, so you can show the before and after. But anyways, I'm guessing that his buddy used an airbrush and went over all the silver on her armor and made it chrome. Just totally chromed out everything. And it doesn't look like he's just used one color of tone. It looks like some of it he darkened up and some of it he lightened up, so the belts stand out and everything. But man, just looks really, really good. And then he did what I was talking about on the cape, to where he got some paint and highlighted her red stripe. The only thing he didn't do was paint the gun. That's where, like me, they're trying to find an actual picture of the actress holding her gun so they can make sure that the color scheme is right, as they're trying to get it as close to movie accurate as possible. But man, for a $20 toy, I'd say his buddy hit it off. And when they showed them side by side, showing it like this and then painted, it's just mud and water. Definitely up the value to where, hey, if Jakks would do something like that and have one like just a special edition where it's all chromed out, hey, I'd pay more money. Most definitely. To have one like that and not have to do it myself, because I know he put in a ton of work because he had to take it all apart. Speaking of taking this one apart, and I noticed the same problem when I was messing around with one of the regular old Stormtroopers at Kmart of this size. It took a bit to get her head to turn, like there was some glue that got up in there or something. And it still turns pretty tight left and right. But it was like a little piece got in there and just kind of froze it to where it felt like, okay, they screwed up on the articulation that her head doesn't move, but didn't give it a really hard twist like I was going to break it, but just a little subtle twist like that, and it gradually freed up. So now it pretty much turns all the way left and right. Even in a fucked up position like that. So, success. Nope, I was right. Okay, that's what they did, was they... Okay, there's something. I wonder if I can fix that and make it better. Yeah, what they did is the cape, it's just got a cutout in it for her head. So they just put that around the neck and then popped the head on, probably via like a socket or something. I noticed it's a little bit loose. No big deal. It doesn't show up because you got the shade of the helmet, but yeah, it's something there to where they tucked the cape up into the head. Otherwise, for 20 bucks, still kick ass. Okay, on to the next ones. Was going to do a unboxing and give you my first impression on them, but I fucked that up. So I will show you the boxes, and then I will show you the characters. And one of these guys I am really impressed with. They did an awesome job for a $10 toy. Anyways, finally got myself one of this dude. Got one of Finn, and maybe want to get at least one action figure of this guy, even more so after I saw that third Star Wars pilot to where it shows Finn facing Kylo with a lightsaber. So obviously Finn is going to turn Jedi, which is just badass to me. Anyways, here's the box. Right off the bat, in fact, it shows it better on the back picture. Actually, on the side there, it shows it good. Yeah. Hopefully you guys can see that good enough. But his gun in this painted picture has kind of a weathered look. But they made it pretty much just solid color, and that's what they did on his gun. Like, as you saw on Phasma, her gun's all painted up. And the next guy I'm going to show you, his gun's painted up, but for some reason they kept his just this solid gray color, or silvery gray, kind of like the same plastic they use on Phasma. So that's something I don't really like otherwise. Looks good for 10 bucks. It looked nice next to my vintage 70s characters. So guys, I'll show it to you here. Like I said, man. Big ass freaking gun, but just solid gray. I don't know why they didn't do any highlighting on it. It wouldn't have been that hard to do. Otherwise, one thing that's a big difference compared to some of the other characters, you notice his trigger finger is in the right friggin' place. It's not all the way down the grip, like he's just holding the grip. So it actually looks like he's getting ready to shoot it. So they did good on that. For a toy, I'd say they did a very good job on the actor's face. I've seen the guy in an interview, and for a toy, it's pretty spot on. They did all right. And say on the body sculpt, the only weird thing they did, and I don't know why the hell they did this. Kind of see to the back. The coat has been done in two pieces. You got the top half and then this bottom half. All that is a separate piece. It's not horrible, but it's weird why they would do that. Otherwise, a lot of nice detail on his coat, even that it is plastic. Unlike the 70s toys where they actually put a real coat as in real clothing on the character, them days are over. Everything's plastic now. But I'd say they did alright. It was definitely worth picking them up. Now this dude, very impressed, and I don't know if they just released this guy or what. This is the first time I've seen him in any of my stores, and they only had one. That was fortunately to the back of the pile of them on the shelf, so just nobody was seeing them. I had to get them all out, because that's usually what I do, is just pull them all off the shelf and just look through all of them, because my stores, they don't have like a row of one guy, a row of another guy, or whatever. No, they got the whole family in one friggin' row. So you got to do that so you can see what's there. So I got to say on this one, I got lucky. But man, it is really cool looking. Anyways, this is a First Order TIE Pilot. And for anybody that's got the Jakks Pacific TIE Pilot, right off the bat, man, you can see they've made some differences. To me, his helmet looks like they got a First Order Stormtrooper helmet and modified it. It just has that same look to it. And also, as you can see, instead of two hoses, he has one hose. Now on that hose, there's something that scared the crap out of me when I was twisting his head around, is it's a ball socket. It freaked me out, man. I thought I broke it, and I didn't. They did something smart on that. Because the hose, it's flexible, but not that flexible. Anyways, back of the box. Side of the box. Darkness. Whatever. Show you the toy. And the paint scheme on this guy is really good, man. This one, they got it all nice and tight. It doesn't look sloppy. As you can see on his instrument panel on his chest, man, everything's nicely painted. Symbols on his shoulders are nicely done there. Parts of his helmet that are painted are where the hoses would attach. Like he's got one where the hose goes in and the other one's like an exhaust part, like it's like a gas mask. Breathe in through one and out through the other. But what happened here is twisting his head. Try and show you guys. And it just came loose to where it's like, fuck! Did I break it? But no, what they did, it's a little peg on the end of that hose. It just pushes into a square hole there. So they probably did that just for that reason. So if a kid grabs his head and twists it all around, it won't rip out the hose. Because with the hose in there, yeah, you can turn it back and forth a little bit, but you definitely lose on some of the motion. But man, I really like the way they did the helmet. It just looks cool. If only Jakks would do one of this guy in at least 20-inch scale. So far, all I've found is the older one where it's got the two hoses and totally different helmet. For just solid black plastic legs and the rest of his body. Pretty nice sculpt. It's not bad at all for a $10 toy. And the gun fits nicely in either one of his hands. Which, unlike Finn, no trigger finger, it's in the wrong place. So he's just holding on to the grip. Otherwise, the gun looks good enough. Not bad. So, that is the end of this vid. Definitely check out G1 Toys to see their review on Captain Phasma. It's just, I could say, man, if only I had the talent and I had the parts for my airbrushes, man, I would do the same thing because it came out so good. Such a big difference. Catch y'all later.